Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Going to be giving you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference ahead of our game against West Ham in the FA Cup 5th round. And after that I'll be giving you my predictions for the game. So in the press conference, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was asked about the fitness of Eric Bailly and Paul Pogba, whether he ever considers resting Harry Maguire, and how he assesses the progress Mason Greenwood and Dean Henderson have made over the last few months. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer expects a tough task against West Ham. So, let's go through all the questions that were asked to him, and I'll also give you Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's responses to them questions. So, this was the first question that was asked to him. How important would a trophy be for Manchester United? Given you talk a lot about progress, you've reached semi-finals. We've seen your team play in numerous semi-finals. It feels like you need a trophy. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's response to that was, well, of course a trophy is always what you're aiming for. You want to win every single competition. FA Cup, Europa League, every game you play. The Premier League, and that's the ultimate challenge and a test for a team to go all the way. We've improved, we've had a plan in place, and I think the team is getting better and better. Last season's semi-final was disappointing. To lose that one, of course, and you just want to go all the way and you want to lift the trophy. That's not the be-all and end-all. Of course, it isn't. It's the bread and butter of the Premier League. That is also a measure of how good a team is. To get to a final, sometimes you're lucky with the draw, but to win a final, then all the good teams have been beaten. So that's the next step for us in the development of this team, to go all the way in the competition. So that was Ole's response to that one. And like I've said to you, Solskjaer knows how important it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager. We haven't won a trophy now for like 4 years. And a club of our stature obviously need to be winning trophies. So anyway, this was the second question that was asked to Solskjaer. You're at home, and usually that would be an advantage, but you seem to play better away from home. Is that a concern? So Ole's response to that was, we've just beaten Liverpool at home in the last round. I think you're a bit unfair there. We just scored 3 goals here tonight against Everton and played some very, very good football, and the 9-0 the other night. So I think we're finding our way to score goals, create chances at home as well. So we're happy. We don't have to travel. We wish we had our fans behind our back, of course, but I'd rather play here than in London. So is that a fair response from Solskjaer? Probably is, because we have been winning a few home games recently. I do definitely agree that we've been much better away from home than we have been at home. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. We are unbeaten in our last 18 Premier League away games. But all our defeats this season have come at Old Trafford. You know, some of it could be to do with no fans there, because obviously it does have an impact on the players. Doesn't it? So yeah. So this was the third question that was asked to him. Ole, you've got a team that wants to win every match. It's clear that didn't happen tonight. How much will you have to lift them? Because they looked like they'd been kicked in the guts, and they knew they were responsible for that point as much as anything else. So Ole's response to what that was, they'll have to be lifted, but they've got the personality and attitude and character to lift themselves as well. We're not going to have time to dwell on it too much and show videos, but of course there's details there that we have to improve on, a couple of things that we'll look at, but there's not going to be time enough to work on it on the training field when the next game's already on Tuesday. So that was Ollie's response to that one. This one is about West Ham. This was asked to him. West Ham seem to have come on quite a lot in the last 2 months since you've played them. I'm not sure if you're aware that Thomas Soucek was sent off in the Fulham game. I knew that. So his response to that was, that's not up to me. I've just heard that he was sent off. I've not seen it, but they've improved a lot, I've got to say. David's got his team's well organised, as he always does with his teams, and he's always got some very good players. And of course, Jesse did really well for them against Aston Villa, and I hope he's going to make them a better team, because that means he'll have played well. Jesse Lingard did score twice in his debut for West Ham in their 3-1 win against Aston Villa. Don't think he's going to be able to play in this game because of his parent and club. This was about Mason Greenwood. This was the question that was asked to him. Mason had a good game tonight and showed a lot of maturity. I just wondered what you made of his progress in recent weeks, like I mentioned earlier on. So all his response to that was, Mason was different class. I thought he was a standout performer on the pitch. He just didn't get the goal that his performance deserved. I think the last few games, if you look at him closely, I know we scored 9 against Southampton, but if you look at his performance, I thought his performance was top. He's improved and matured immensely, and he's working with some of the top forwards in the country. Of course, he's learning off them, and it's exciting to see that he's come over his blip and he's playing really well. So that was all his response to that, and I've got to agree with him on that aspect. In the last few games, Mason Greenwood has really stepped up to the plate. He's made very good runs down that right hand side. He's created chances for himself, and Ollie's been defending Mason Greenwood a lot this season. Didn't really have much of a perception on him earlier on this season, because he was out with injury at one point. He had personal issues, and at one point he had illness. At the start of this season, we give him that number 11 shirt. Yes. This question is about Dean Henderson. So it says, Dean's had 2 excellent seasons with Sheffield United, where he's been playing regularly. How's he found the transition this season? Where's he had to bide his time a little bit more, and how long do you think he's away from getting a regular run in the Premier League? So all his response to that was, well, Dean has played well whenever he's got the chance, and he's matured. For me, he's developed his game. I know he's not played as many games as he would have done last season, but you see every game when he plays, and in training his improvement. He's working hard on a couple of aspects that we've spoken about with him. I've been impressed with his attitude and work rate. Of course, he's he's not the most patient guy. He wants to play every game because he knows that he'll perform well. So long it may continue, because he's improved since he's come here. And I've got to agree with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on that. Dean Henderson has improved, and he has done well in the games that he has played in this season. I think he should become our number 1, because he is reliable enough now to become our number 1, because he has got that experience behind him. And I can almost assure Dean Henderson will be in goal for this game against West Ham. Don't forget, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has warned David De Gea his place is not secure in the Manchester United team, but he said that no one's place is safe at Manchester United. He said they've got to earn their place. David De Gea did get criticised, obviously, because he made 2 mistakes in the 3-3 draw with Everton. Obviously, David De Gea palmed it out straight to Decore's feet for Everton's first goal, easy tapping, and he was beaten far too easily by Dominic Calvert-Lewin's goal in the 95th minute of stoppage time. But I still think, despite that, David De Gea is going to remain our number one for at least this season. In the last couple of years now, David De Gea has made quite a lot of calamitous mistakes. A few years ago, he was regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world, and there has been a few games this season where he's actually done well, and there has been signs that he's slowly getting back to his best. This is his 10th season at Man United, like I say, so he has been a long servant. So anyway, this was a question about Harry Maguire to Ollie. Harry Maguire is obviously your captain and a very important player for you, but he's played over 50 hours worth of football this season. Do you ever think about giving him a rest? Does he need a rest, or is he just one of these players who just plunges on with it and gets through matches? So Ollie's response to that was, yes, of course, I think about if he needs a rest. If he physically can keep going and going, the nature of a centre-back position is a different position compared to full-backs and wide men, or even centre midfielders, or any other position on the pitch. The centre-backs are the ones who are protected mostly from the real fatigue because you're working less. Then again, he's never injured. Harry, he's never been really badly hurt, touch wood, and hopefully he'll be able to carry on. But I'm not sure if he'll play it on Tuesday or not. I've not decided yet. So yeah, Harry Maguire. Now, I think he has had some good games this season, but he's also had bad games. Don't forget, Harry Maguire had that incident in Greece before the start of the season, and he did get sent off in one of England's, friendly games? I think it was against Denmark. Harry Maguire was certainly not worth the £80 million that we got him for. He's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment and the second most expensive signing at the club. And I thought it was quite poor against Everton, was Harry Maguire, played Dominic Calvert-Lewin onside. I thought he lacked speed for Everton's first goal. His contribution was poor as well. So I do have my concerns about him, I do. But anyway, this is the last question of the press conference. Are you planning to rotate in this match? Will Eric Bailly be available? Will Paul Pogba be available? On another matter, I'm guessing you must be very happy with the way Jesse Lingard has started at West Ham. So Ollie's response to that was, Jesse has started really well. He's gone down there, made a good first impression. He's just got to knuckle down, work hard, keep his head down, keep improving his game. We know how good he is. Just get a regular run in the game, in the team, and then hopefully we can see the best of Jesse. With Paul and Eric, I'm not sure if they're going to be fit. I think Eric is closer than Paul. So that was everything that was mentioned during the press conference. I'm hopeful that Eric Bailly is going to be available for this game, because I certainly prefer him to Victor Lindelof. I do have my reservations about Victor Lindelof. Eric Bailly is a good centre-half. He shows the ability to play out from the back. He's very effective in the air. He can intercept the ball well. My only element of concern about Bailly is far too injury prone. And what he just said about Paul Pogba, he's not going to be available for this match against West Ham. Paul Pogba did sustain a muscle injury in our 3-3 draw with Everton. He did mention that Paul Pogba was going to be further assessed, and he was going to have a scan. Like I said to you earlier, we was going to find out further more details of the injury today. He's a miss though, Paul Pogba, because the vast majority of Paul Pogba's performances have been very, very good since he came back from that ankle injury that he had earlier on in the season. He was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. So he's sustained a few injuries now at Man United. Paul Pogba got voted Player of the Month for January, reflecting on that fantastic goal he scored in the 2-1 win against Fulham. Now, we have held talks with Paul Pogba regarding his future. Solskjaer insists that Paul Pogba is happy at Man United, and Solskjaer suggested Paul Pogba could sign a new contract. Paul Pogba has had a long-running transfer saga. You know, he's been linked with a move to PSG in recent weeks. He's been relentlessly linked with a return to Juventus. Pogba did endure 4 good years with Juventus, and swap deals have been high on the agenda. Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist, he named the 4 players that Juventus offered us to try and sign Paul Pogba. Juventus do want to re-sign him this summer, and Pogba's been relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. Matthias Pogba, Paul Pogba's brother, recently gave us an update on Paul Pogba's future. And he said that Paul Pogba's got no intentions of signing a new contract. He said, we need to sell him during the summer if we are to get the money, or he could leave for nothing in 2022. And Fabrizio, he's saying the same thing as what Fabrizio Romano said, because Fabrizio Romano, not so long ago, gave us an update on Pogba's future. And he said that Paul Pogba's transfer away from Man United is still on the cards, because he mentioned that Mino Raiola has been planning a move for Paul Pogba next summer. But he said last month that Paul Pogba was considering making a U-turn at the club, and he contradicted his agent Mino Raiola for the second time. Paul Pogba's future is on hold until the end of the season. Don't forget, Mino Raiola made an announcement back in December saying that Paul Pogba's career at Man United is over. He said he's unhappy and he has to leave, and he's got no intentions of signing a new contract. And Solskjaer was furious with Mino Raiola's announcement, because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. We paid £89 million for him. He's our most expensive signing at the moment, and this is his 5th season at the club since he rejoined. We did trigger that 1-year extension on his contract, so Paul Pogba's under contract with Man United until June 2022. So there you go. So yeah, anyway, let me give you my predictions for this game. I think we are going to win 2-1. I think the goal scorers for us will be Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford. I think West Ham's goal scorer will be Pablo Fornals. We beat West Ham in the league earlier on this season 3-1 at the London Stadium. We come from behind in that game. But it will be a tough game, like I mentioned. You know, West Ham are enduring a good season. They are exceeding expectations, because no one expected them to be in the position that they're in at this stage of the season. They're sitting like 5th or 6th in the Premier League, and David Moyes is doing well in his second spell at West Ham. Of course, you know, David Moyes is reuniting with Manchester United tomorrow. We had Moyes for 10 months. He enjoyed the shortest tenure at the club. We actually finished 7th under the David Moyes era. That's the lowest we've finished in the Premier League era. It was actually Ferguson that recommended David Moyes into Manchester United. Main explanation is because they're both Scottish. But that was one mistake Ferguson made by recommending Moyes in at that time. But you know, Moyes has brought quite a few players in at West Ham. Obviously, you know, he brought Solkjaer in. Solkjaer has made a fantastic impact. He brought Vladimir Kufal in, Moyes. Moyes also brought Craig Dawson in on loan from Watford. Also brought Ben Rama in. At the first they did get him on loan, but earlier on this year they got Ben Rama permanently. West Ham recently brought Jesse Lingard in. You know, he's done very, very well at West Ham so far. I think actually West Ham could get him permanently. Moyes also brought Frederick Ibsen in. So yeah, they are the players that David Moyes has brought in his second spell at West Ham. West Ham have still got that Mark Noble. He's been at West Ham for several years. I think he's in his 30s, he's Mark Noble. He's a good player though. I think he's had a good career with West Ham. West Ham have also got Jared Bowen. They've got that Pablo Fornals, who's one of their key players. They've got Mikel Antonio. He's one of their key players. West Ham have also got that Lanzini. He's one of their key players. They've got Declan Rice. I do like Declan Rice a lot. Don't forget, we've been in for Declan Rice. It said from ESPN earlier on this season that we was set to rival Chelsea for Declan Rice, and it also mentioned that West Ham were considering lowering their asking price to £50 million for Rice, but initially West Ham value him at around £80 million. As far as I'm aware, Chelsea are no longer in for him because obviously they sacked Frank Lampard earlier on this season. But Rice is becoming an integral part of West Ham's team. He's been at West Ham for several years. He's got a contract with West Ham until 2024. There's also an option to extend his contract for a further 12 months. Predominantly a holding midfielder, but can be deployed as a centre-half. I like the way Declan Rice breaks up the play, and he also gets forward well, and he's still got a lot of development in him because he's still young and he's well proven in the Premier League. Liverpool have also been in for him. Before he was at West Ham, he was at Chelsea. He was in their youth setup for a while. I also like that Aaron Cresswell that West Ham have got. I think he's like the third or fourth best left back in the Premier League. West Ham have also got that Ryan Fredericks, who's a pretty good player. Issa Diop, he's a very good centre-half for them. I think we inquired about him a while ago. I think West Ham have got two injuries. They've got that Masuaku out, and they've got Randolph out with injury. West Ham have let a few players go. Don't forget they let Sebastian Haller go. I think West Ham made a mistake by getting rid of him because I think he did very, very well at West Ham. They also let Felipe Anderson go. They let Grady Diagana go. They let Robert Snodgrass go. And they let Winston Reid go. West Ham have also got that Yarmolenko in their team. West Ham progressed to the 5th round of the FA Cup by obviously beating Stockport in the 3rd round, and they beat Doncaster in the 4th round. West Ham have won the FA Cup 3 times. The last time they won the FA Cup was 41 years ago. We progressed to the 5th round of the FA Cup by beating Watford in the 3rd round 1-0, and we beat Liverpool in the 4th round 3-2. We've got a good home record in the FA Cup, like I mentioned on the preview yesterday. The last time we lost at Old Trafford in the FA Cup was to Swansea back in 2015. And actually, the last time we played West Ham in the FA Cup was back in 2016. We're beating them 2-1 in the quarter-finals. I think West Ham's last win at Old Trafford was back in 2007. So yeah, I'm expecting us to beat West Ham. You know, we are coming into this game on the back of a 3-3 draw with Everton. We should have certainly have beaten Everton, you know, because we squandered a 2-goal lead. It was a good performance by us in terms of an attacking intent, but defensively we was shambolic. And like I mentioned this morning, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's title dream is now over. Solskjaer said we shouldn't be considered as title chasers. He said that after the 3-3 draw with Everton. Yeah, it's looking very, very likely now that Manchester City are going to win the Premier League. You know, the 5 points in front of us, and plus they've got a game in hand. If we'd have beaten Everton and if we'd have beaten Sheffield, I would have turned around and said, you know, we are still in this title race. But yes, so Solskjaer's come out and admitted that the title's gone. But he didn't talk about it, did he, for a while? Because, you know, he was just basically saying that, you know, he's taking one game at a time. So he didn't mention the title race whatsoever up until after the Everton game. You know, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so we haven't won it now for like 8 years. Our next league game is West Brom. We should be winning that because West Brom are a very, very poor team, and I think Sam Allardyce will end up getting sacked. West Brom sacked Slaven Bilic earlier on this season. Solskjaer says our summer transfer plans could be affected by the coronavirus pandemic. I am still expecting us to make some signings in the summer transfer window, and I've given you the 3 areas where Man United need to strengthen up. I think we need a striker, we need a world-class midfielder, and we also need a centre-half. And it's very imperative that Woodward backs Solskjaer in the summer transfer window. Because I think the transfer windows Solskjaer's enjoyed so far, he hasn't been backed enough by the board. And Woodward has come out several times to support Ole, and he's promised that he will back Solskjaer. And he said towards the end of last year he will back him with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. The summer transfer window will be Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager. He's enjoyed 4 transfer windows so far as permanent Man United manager. But like I said to you, it was a disappointing January transfer window because we only saw one arrival, and that was Amad Traore. Won't be too long now till we see him in the first team squad. Amad Traore has made 2 appearances for the under-23s and he's done very, very well. Solskjaer did say a few times during the January transfer window though that he wasn't expecting any signings. During the January transfer window we was focusing obviously a lot more on the outgoings, and we obviously saw more players leave Man United in the January transfer window. To Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's credit, he has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended in as Man United manager. But there has been a lot of players on our agenda. You already know the news on Jadon Sancho. I recently give you the news on David Alaba from Bayern Munich. Not Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. It recently said that we identified our 2 top targets for the summer, and that was Jules Koundé and Erling Haaland. But yeah, like I say, for us to be genuine title contenders, we need more signings. We've also got to start beating the top sides because we have struggled against the top sides in the Premier League this season, and people say you've got to beat the top sides, or at least some of them, if you are to be genuine title contenders. I can assure we will get the top 4 this season. I can assure that. But yeah, I am still Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in. You know, this is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's second full season. You know, I think he's going to be given at least another season at the football club. And I think Solskjaer's made very, very good progress in the last year or so. Because like I mentioned, we've done well away from home. Performances have been improving. You know, players are improving. You know, and in general, aspects of our game are improving. You know, Solskjaer's been Manchester United manager now for over 2 years. So reflecting now on he's been at the club, he has gained some managerial experience and he has learnt quite a bit on the job. But yeah, like I say, we'll make changes for the game tomorrow. I've already given you my starting 11 prediction for the game. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.